We are working on the X, Y, and Z company, and we are going to reorganize the supply chain function for the X, Y, and Z company. So first, I'd like to start off by talking about the relocation of facilities. So the new 90,000 square feet location for the XYZ company is located in Massachusetts and will distribute across the Northeast. XYZ designs, makes, and supplies lawn and garden products for independent realtors, landscaping companies, and homeowners across the U.S. Products are sourced from other manufacturers, which will be located overseas. X, Y, and Z has a decentralized logistics organization, which means that all decisions will be made at the Massachusetts location. So first, we're going to organize the supply chain. The SCORE supply chain management process framework will be implemented. SCORE stands for Supply Chain Operations Reference Model. It identifies business processes in such a way that the processes can actually be implemented and then they can be evaluated. They focus on the logistics, the operations, and the procurement functions. The six involved are the six processes, which are to plan, to source, to make, to deliver, to return, and to enable. So why was the SCORE model chosen? It is a standardized model that is used globally, which is going to help when dealing with the overseas manufacturers and all over the United States. This management tool is going to allow for decentralized Massachusetts locations to establish their own standards for operations and always be continuously improving. It heavily involves logistics in its six processes. It is a key area of consideration when each process level is completed, as each process links to another one. It is highly process focused, meaning it will help explain each part of the supply chain and how to actually improve the processes along the way. The XYZ company needs SCORE in order to create a supply chain roadmap and to analyze their supply chain network for every possible important detail to get this new facility up and running smoothly and efficiently. So, will the functions be outsourced is the next topic I'll talk about. So, XYZ designs, makes, and supplies lawn and garden products for independent realtors, landscaping companies, and homeowners across the U.S. So, the XYZ trucks cannot deliver to each and every homeowner every time a new product is ordered, obviously. It is important to it is impossible, to physically deliver all of the company's lawn and product to each of these individual places across the northeast part of the U.S. Therefore, inbound and outbound transportation will be outsourced from one of the 3PL providers, DHL, UPS, FedEx, or USPS. By outsourcing transportation, this is going to allow for the supply chain to run smoother, as transportation will always be taken care of. So this is image that we used just to show how when you shake your hand, it shows that you are making a compromise and making a deal. And these trucks are just like a cute little picture to, express the 3PL providers. So next I'm going to talk about single source versus multi-source procurement. So single sourcing is when you consolidate purchase volumes with a single supplier with the hopes of enjoying lower costs per unit and increased cooperation and communication in the supply chain. So the single source procurement is going to allow for lower costs in the long run, as products are going to be purchased at high volume only, since only one supplier is being used. By having single source procurement, X, Y, and Z company is going to be able to build a strong long-term relationship, which will be highly beneficial for the future for them. The product's quality is always going to be high, as improvements will always be made. And if multiple sourcings was chosen, the products would most likely never to be the same or high quality because they would be coming from different suppliers. So the procurement portfolio approach is another approach that we will use. So XYZ is prepared to optimize its purchasing by implementing a comprehensive procurement portfolio. A team of procurement managers will monitor past, current, and present purchases of raw materials, component parts, and suppliers. In order to properly display the purchase levels of importance and simultaneously level of risk, a matrix similar to the Kroll-Gist portfolio matrix will be utilized to inform managers of the total value of purchase. This is another image that we use to express how to select strategic suppliers. So it shows you the high and low supply risk and the low and high profit impact and how everything meshes together. So the next topic is supplier development. Supplier development is when a degree of aggressive procurement involvement not normally encountered in supplier section. So the key reasons why X, Y, and Z is going to adapt a more proactive and aggressive role is because the myriad of inefficiencies associated with suppliers initiating marketing efforts towards purchasers. Purchasers may be aware of important benefits such as reduced inventory and improved forecasting accuracies. Achieving competitive advantage in the supply chain is predicted on purchasers adopting a more aggressive approach so as to compel suppliers to meet the necessary requirements. Global sourcing has two key components: transportation and holding costs. So global sourcing refers to buying components and inputs anywhere in the world. So X, Y, and Z will utilize sources from the global market to maximize efficiencies. The lowest cost raw material and labor will be integrated, lowering the overall cost of production. Transportation and holding costs become a challenging factor when considering global sourcing. In order to transport components and inputs, longer distance costs will increase. These costs fluctuate, so transportation methods will be monitored and remain flexible. The choice to transport quickly with low holding costs or slowly with high holding costs will be decided after comparing the total amount of cost each month to minimize spending. This is why they use global sourcing, because they are able to consider their options every time. So sustainable procurement and social responsibility. Sustainable procurement is the integration of social and environmental considerations into all stages of the purchasing process, with the goal of minimizing the impact of procurement activities on human health and the environment. Social responsibility procurement consists of 5 dimensions, namely diversity, the environment, human rights, philanthropy, and safety. The XYZ Company would like to demonstrate sustainable procurement and socially responsible procurement. We would like to make sure that XYZ Company is making sure that social and environmental considerations are being made, which would not only reduce waste, but would save a lot of money in the long run. This would lower our impact of procurement activities on the environment and human health. We want to ensure that our business is run at the highest ethical standards at all times. The investment recovery is another step that we will use. So the investment recovery identifies opportunities to recover venues or reduce costs associated with scrap, surplus, obsolete, and waste materials. It is often the responsibility of the procurement manager. Even the best companies will find that there are resources being wasted in their operations. The XYZ Company wants to make our operations as efficient as possible by reducing the amount of scrap, surplus, obsolete, and waste materials. A procurement manager will be appointed. When implementing investment recovery, we will find ways to reuse materials and find prospective buyers for excessive and scrap materials to recover lost revenues while discarding waste materials, as they have no economic value to the X, Y, and Z Company. This is going to reduce X, Y, and Z's seller costs and in return increase sellers' revenues. The fixed order quantity, or fixed order interval ordering, is when the inventory is replenished with a set quantity every time it is ordered. The time intervals between orders may vary. This type of rule helps to limit reorder mistakes, conserve storage space, and prevent unnecessary expenditures that would tie up funds that could be better utilized elsewhere. The XYZ Company wants to order properly, not waste any product or money. This is why it's important to order the amount needed and only that amount. Money won't be wasted by following this ordering system, and the extra money can go towards other places in the company that is needed. The level of inventory must consistently be monitored through an electronic system. When the reorder point is hit, the fixed order quantity is ordered. This continues over and over again. So the just-in-time inventory is an inventory system of a management strategy that aligns raw material orders from suppliers directly with production schedules. Companies use this inventory strategy to increase efficiencies and decrease waste by receiving goods only as they need them for the production process, which reduces the inventory cost overall. This method requires producers to forecast demand accurately. This process is similar to the fixed order quantity, with reducing the waste as there is most likely low to no safety stock. However, it is at limited waste on the materials being shipped out and aligning with production. The XYZ Company can benefit highly by using this method to be able to not waste products and to have it efficiently be sent to production and delivered in the fastest manner possible. So the vendor managed inventory, which is called VMI, is a system in which the size and timing of replenishment orders in a realtor systems are the manufacturer's responsibility. So VMI is a business model where the buyer of the product provides information to a vendor of that product, and the vendor takes full responsibility for maintaining an agreed inventory of the material. So as you can see in this diagram, it just goes over and over again. So the vendor, they analyze the data, they give the shop a notice, stock, sales, and it just goes over and over again. It's just kind of like a wheel. So a benefit of using the VMI is that it manages the inventory better because the vendors are more proficient. So with the data analysis, it makes sure that everything is tracked online and efficient so that you can keep it going as soon as possible. So using the VMI will help X, Y, and Z in the long run, but it will not immediately benefit the sales. So VMI uses electronic data interchange or the internet to access their distributors or realtor sales and inventory data. So this wraps up our slideshow. And so I just wanted to come back to talk about organizing the supply chain and just show that we went through and we involved all 6 steps of the process of the supply chain. So we made sure that we planned, sourced, made, deliver, return, and enabled all the things possible to make the X, Y, and Z company most successful.